Welcome to episode 108 of Sport SA Daily Diary. Today we're chatting to South Africa's leading female modern pentathlete, Alida van der Merwe. Good afternoon, Alida. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thanks, and you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Alida, you're a modern pentathlete, and we're going to get into that a bit later, and the sports that surround it, which is quite significant. But you're still at school. How's that going?
So obviously with the lockdown, it's been a bit of a change, and we all had to do online schooling. Our school was really supportive with us, so they did all the work throughout the whole lockdown, and we started school again this Monday. Luckily, we had 1 week, and then we had to be sent back home because unfortunately there was a case there. But yeah, it was really nice to see everyone again with the social distancing. It was really strange for me. Yeah, no, it was really nice to see them again.
And you've been doing the schooling from home for a while now. You've been enjoying it more than going to school normal?
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed it more as I felt I could make more time in the day. I could finish my work a lot quicker than I usually did when I was going to school hours. So I enjoyed it. I could fit my own time in the day and finish other things as well. So I don't know, it's going to be weird coming back to the normal routine and everything.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. And you're at school at Eunice High School. It seems to be quite a school for sort of churning out South African talented sportsmen. There's also a young tennis player that's also from your school.
Yes, Delene Kleinhans, yes. She's our sports star.
Between her and you, it's a super sports star. Obviously, modern pentathlon is not your sort of mainstream normal sport. When you were growing up a bit younger, sort of primary school and early high school, were you playing other mainstream sports, or sort of when did you kind of find the sport of modern pentathlon?
Okay, so throughout primary school, I've always done swimming. I was really big in club swimming, and I went to also a couple of like the national competitions. I also played a lot of hockey for our school, and I did some tennis as well, but it was mainly just hockey and tennis for me. And in the background, I did a bit of horse riding competitions on weekends as well. And then I think from grade 6 on, I had everyone telling me, try running, try fencing. And then just eventually by grade 7, grade 8, everything just came together and I said, okay, I want to do pentathlon. I just think I would get so bored with just focusing on one sport throughout my whole high school. And so far it's kept me busy and I really just enjoy every moment of it, I think. So, yeah.
And tell me, had you heard of modern pentathlon before? Because obviously there's the original pentathlon, which is more sort of track-based. For the listeners that aren't sure about the modern pentathlon, it's fencing, 200 meters freestyle swimming, show jumping with your horse behind me, pistol shooting and cross-country running. It's not as if it's not the most well-known sport out there at the moment.
No. So I heard about it also. It was just a minor sport that I knew about. I didn't really know completely about it. I also just saw, say now on the Olympic Games, there's pentathlon. It looks quite incredible and quite fun to do. So yeah, for me it was also something completely new, and I'm still learning every single year. It's like how to manage the whole sport altogether. So that's also what just makes it so much fun for me, I think. Yeah.
Well, you say you're still learning how to manage the sport. Essentially, you are South Africa's leading female modern pentathlete already at the age of 17. That's phenomenal.
Thank you.
And Alida, tell us a bit more about the different disciplines. So fencing, for example, in competition, who sort of decides who faces who? Or do you have to sort of versus all the other athletes in the competition?
Yeah. So in a huge competition, it just determines how many athletes are at the competition. Say now there's 100 athletes at the competition, national competition, international competition. They all get divided into qualifications, and you all fence everyone in your qualification that you are put into. And then you have to finish your day of pentathlon, which is all the disciplines of the sport. And then you get put into the final round, which is always 36 athletes in the final round. And then in the final round, you fence all the final athletes. Just 1 point, actually. The fencing bout is only 1 point. So any person can get a point. And all the points you have together are all added up at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay. And then sort of onto the pistol shooting. I believe the pistol shooting and the cross country are essentially combined.
Combined, yes. So you do, it's called a laser run course. So you do laser shooting and running. You do 4 sets of 800s. You start with you first shoot, you run your 800, you shoot, you run your 800, and so on until you're at the final end, and then you finish 3.2 kilometers. Yeah.
So of the 5 different disciplines, do you have a preference for one of them?
This is always a question asked, and I feel like I'm changing my answer each time because I just love I really enjoy all of them. And especially because in the sport, there's always a different sport that you're at your best quality, your best performance at. I mean, the 1 week I'm really feeling good in my fencing and my swimming is so low. And then the next time I'm really feeling good in my running and my swimming is, it's for me, I altogether, I can't choose which one I like.
And Alida, I mean, it's not as if you are a footballer or a rugbyer or even a triathlete. I mean, you've got 5 sports that you need to concentrate on and train for. What's a typical sort of training week for you? How do you fit it all in?
Okay, so I try to swim and run at least 5 times a week. I always take a rest on a Wednesday completely from those 2 sports. Those 2 sports in this sport, it takes the most energy, and I feel that's the sport you also have to recover really well from. So I run every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then swim as well. And then fencing trainings, I would try to have 2 lessons in the week, just to focus on my skills, and also at least 2 fencing bouts with other players in the week. And shooting, I just have to shoot as much as I can. I mean, it's just a repetition and just a skill you have to do. So I try to shoot every day. And in between my running trainings, I would fit that in as well for laser run training. And horse riding, I'm very lucky to be able to ride every weekend. I don't really get that much time to ride or within the week, so I take that as my weekend and just go riding. Yeah.
And have you got your own horse?
Actually, I ride my sister's horse. 2 of my sisters, they're also pretty good in horse riding, so I'm very lucky to also ride their horses. Yeah.
And when you go and compete overseas, I mean, you've been all over the place, from Argentina to Georgia, Poland to Hungary, Egypt to Czech Republic. Do you take your own horse with you, or do you sort of procure or secure a horse in country?
So how it works is the horse riding, you do not ride from the age of 19 and down. You only ride from the age group from 19 and over. So I've only competed in 3 of those competitions which have the riding competition in it. And how it works is you only ride when you're in the final round, not in the qualification. So only when you're in the final round, you then get to draw piece of paper out of a hat and say, okay, there's a list of horses' names, and you get that number with that horse's name, and you ride that horse. So it's quite something to ride a different horse, and you get 20 minutes just to, get the feel of the horse, warm up with the horse, and you only have 5 jumps to do, if I'm correct. Yeah, it's quite that's what makes it really interesting for me. I mean, the horse that's in this background, I could not get him over one jump in this warm-up arena, not one, because there was water everywhere. He did not want to jump at all. So I think you can see how pale my face is. I eventually I got over the course. Yeah, the sport is really interesting, and you don't know what to expect on the day. I mean, the sport is only done until the finish line. Anything can happen. So yeah.
I mean, that must be quite a challenge, because I would imagine the majority of sort of equestrian competitions, you're racing your own horse. Now, all of a sudden, you are being given a horse 20 minutes before competition, and it's a living, it's animal. It has a mind of its own. It's not like a gun or that sort of thing. It must be quite a challenge to sort of get that horse onto your own wavelength.
Yeah, no, it is quite a challenge, and I mean, especially each country has their own set of different horse breeds as well, and I mean, I think that can also influence the type of horse you can get, and it can be. It's really scary sometimes. You don't know what to expect, but it's really fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. And we've had a little bit of interest from listeners already about the sport of modern pentathlon. A couple of questions. One being, what is the name of the mat that you compete on in fencing? And what is the name of I'm going to call it a sword, because I don't even know, that you use in fencing?
Okay. So in fencing, there are 3 types of swords that you use. And those 3 types of swords come with the 3 types of areas you can actually hit on the person. Okay. The one that I do and in pentathlon is épée fencing, and you can hit the person from head to toe. You can hit them on their hand, you can hit them on the elbow, you can hit them everywhere. And then you get saber fencing. It's a different sword. You use a saber, and you can only hit from the waist until your head. And then foil fencing, you can only hit from your neck to your hip, and you can't hit your arms. So I do the épée fencing in modern pentathlon, and we fence on a piste. It's like a mat. It's like a metal mat, and no, you can't go for your foot and try hit the floor and try get a point. I mean, then it works with an electric circuit. Okay, so so you can only touch every part of your body on there. Yeah.
Well, we've now learned something new. Let's get back to you specifically, Alida. Do you remember the first time that you represented your country for the modern pentathlon?
Yes, it was. I was in grade 8, and I think that was 2018 at the under-19 World Championships. Oh, I'm wrong. Sorry, I was grade 7. Then, okay, it was grade 8 at the 2017 World Championships in Prague, and I was quite overwhelmed with the whole atmosphere. I was really new to the sport at that stage, and I think that was just when I decided, okay, just all I can do is get experience, and I think that's what the sport's all about, just experience.
And you've gone to gain on quite a significant amount of experience in the sport itself. 2018, you went to the European Cup in Georgia. Same year, you went to the Youth Olympics in Argentina and placed 7th. I mean, that's, again, a pretty remarkable result for somebody who hadn't been doing the sport for so long. And, I mean, in all honesty, is not huge in South Africa, so you probably haven't had the massive amount of competition to face up against.
No, it was quite, I don't know, I think at the moment I was just hoping, okay, all I can do is my best. And I mean, it would be great to have other athletes also in the country doing the same sport to, help see where I am in my sport. But yeah, I just, like I said, I think it's just the experience that will help you with the sport. And I'm still learning. Like I said, it's still a learning sport, and yeah.
And I mean, you followed that on. You went to Poland to participate in the Poland National Open, and you came second, winning 2 golds and a silver. You are just getting better and better.
Yeah, as for me, that was when I was at my best performance. It was it was a really great experience for me. That competition, I remember. So it was actually quite a funny story to that competition with the horse riding part. So we had not we weren't given the information on which day the horse riding was, and it came to the part where we found out, okay, it's the Friday we're riding, and I pitch up to the show jumping arena in my sweatpants, in my tracksuit. We don't know what's happening. We see everyone in their uniform, and they say, okay, next up, Alida, you pull your number, and I pull horse number 3. That means I'm going in third person. I haven't walked the course. I don't know which jump is first, which jump is last. And I just have to run and get my clothes and jump the course. And yeah, that, like I said, the horse riding really makes it so interesting. So that was my best moment.
That sounds incredible. 2019 really was a big year. You were the first South African to reach the final rounds of a World Cup qualifying event. You came second at the African Champs. You were named SA Pentathlete of the Year, the female SA Pentathlete of the Year. Again, I mean, you're just getting better and better at the sport that is so new for you. Has there been a specific moment in your career that's been a highlight for you so far?
I think it would be the World Cups where I could make the final round. That was my highlight. Um, it was the best feeling for me, and because I wasn't, I just on that day, I wasn't expecting anything. I was just told, okay, do your best, and that's all you can do. Because I mean, they are the senior athletes, and it's really just being amongst them, touching shoulders with them that was my highlight. But I really I really can't wait to be competing again. After in the middle of 2019, right after the season had ended, I did have an injury and I was out for quite a very long time. So I've just been so eager to get back to competitions again. And then when 2020 came and I had my first competition, it wasn't the best. It was my first competition back after my injury. So yeah, and then Corona came and I'm just still very eager to compete again. Yeah.
I'm sure. You've also received some amazing recognition from your school as well. You received the school's board medal, which is the highest school award an athlete can receive. How do your peers at school sort of relate to you, or I mean, they must be over the moon to have somebody that's representing South Africa as one of their own.
Yeah. No, I must say all my friends at school have always been supporting me. They've always sent me work. Okay, how are you doing? How are you doing overseas? We miss you. And I think that's also just what makes it so much fun for me coming back and seeing my friends again. I must say UNICE was just the best place for me, and my school principal really supported me throughout also my academic career and my sports career. So yeah, I'm just very grateful for that.
Sure. You're an incredibly humble athlete. You mentioned earlier that you were really enjoying sort of rubbing shoulders with the older athletes and getting to know some of the older athletes. Is there a specific athlete in the sport of modern pentathlon or another sport that you look up to as a bit of a role model?
Yeah. So I look up to the French modern pentathlete. She's she's winning World Cups. She's just incredible. She's her name is Alida, and she's beautiful. Yeah, I look up to her, and I don't know, it's just I see her as well on social media as well, and it's just this looks amazing. This is amazing. So yeah.
Well, I mean, at the rate you're going, there's no reason why you won't be up there with her very soon. Alida, we chatted a bit earlier about your training. You're obviously still young, and you enjoy your sort of social engagement with your friends and social life. How do you manage between your schoolwork, your social life, and your training? Because it must be very hard having to tell your mate, sorry, I can't come out tonight because I've got to train early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, no, it is hard, and I have realized that it is something that I'm gonna have to consider when I'm training for competitions. Obviously along the way I have lost some friends. I just got to see who's my closest friends and who I can really rely on. Yeah, it's still hard for me to focus on, okay, I have to stick to this plan and I have to get everything done by this time. I have been taking a lot of tutor classes, which have been helping me through the lockdown, and also I've been trying to send on the vacation times, just try get ahead of term 1 work and see if that could work. So yeah, it's the challenge. That's my everyday challenge, just trying to stick with a program. And obviously some days I'm like, oh, okay, I can leave it just one day for my friends, but then I know, okay, that one day is going to be so great for me, because then I haven't seen them forever, and then it's just going to feel so much better seeing them. So that's how I see it.
It's been awesome listening to your story, Alida. Just in closing, you obviously qualified for 2021 Olympics as well as the Junior and Youth World Cups. So essentially you're still competing at junior level, and you've got senior level to come, which is, I mean, phenomenal. What does the future hold for Alida in terms of, are you going to stick with modern pentathlon, or do you feel you may specialize in one of the sports in the future? Where do you see yourself?
Okay. I just want to correct you. I have not yet qualified for 2021 Olympics. I just missed the position when I was at the African Champs. I came second. So there's still obviously a lot of time, and I think I can still try to qualify, and I think that's what I'm aiming for at this moment. For the future, I know it sounds crazy, but I really like studying accounting at school. I take it as a subject. So I'm going to see what happens. I'm thinking to study a accounting degree at varsity and try use my sport to maybe go overseas for university. But if not, I mean, there's so many opportunities in South Africa. So I think I'll look into that as well. Yeah, I just really want to continue my sport as well, but also be able to study at the same time. And I know it's quite a challenge. But yeah, I'll see. That's my plan so far. I'm not 100% sure what will happen, but yeah, that's my plan.
And you foresee yourself remaining in the sport of modern pentathlon and not sort of specializing in one of the 5?
No, like I said, I think I'd get so bored just focusing on the one sport. For me, that's me personally. I don't know. I just love every single sport altogether. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's been awesome chatting to you today on Sport SA Daily Diary. Thank you very much for your time. Good luck with qualifying for the Olympics. We have no doubt that you will. And we look forward to seeing what the future holds for you, and many, many gold medals, we hope.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it so much.
Thanks for your time. Cheers.
Okay.
Join us again tomorrow on Sport SA Daily Diary, where we chat to a man that South African rower James Thompson refers to as the greatest lightweight rower in the world.